I don't know why setting up the camera is the hardest thing every time. It's the same way, and every time it bests me. Take like 10 minutes to do it. But here we are. We just left off. We were leaving the flower people. The leader of the flower people with the big red sunflower head stocked Jacob and the gang up with some more food for their journey. And the walk to the gate of the flower people realm is uneventful. They finally get to the gate and they head to the land of the troglodytes. Now, as they walk out through the gate, they appear on a gigantic lily pad. It's huge. Like, I don't know, like an acre maybe. And they look around and they see no land around, just lots and lots of water. There's these giant trees, maybe like 40 feet in radius, coming out of the water with like huge like willow-like leaves and vines coming down. Can't like really see the sky that well, but some spots you can see the sky. It's nighttime. Lots of these giant trees, water. You look down into the water, you can't see the bottom. It's very deep. Xerxes tells the gang that this is where the troglodytes live, but they live at the bottom of the ocean. They don't come out. So we're not going to really have to bother or worry about them too much. There's no... Xander's not here because there's not much he can do. But they left some boats. There's some boats underneath the lily pad that Xerxes and other resistance members had left. Roz goes, swims under, pulls them out. 3 boats. They split up into groups of 3s. Jacob is with Xerxes and Roz. I think Talk, Telby, and Addison are together, and that leaves Ellie, Marcus, and Ned. 3 boats. Addison and Marcus are still not talking to each other or to Jacob. It's really tense situation, not the happiest people in the world. They're not really happy that they're on the lily pad in another world with their friends dead. It's rough all around. But they start sailing. Jacob is talking to Roz and Xerxes, and Jacob's like, Hey guys, what was the deal with Ellie earlier about talking about like the queen, like betraying her or something like that?" And Roz speaks up. He's like, "Yeah. So here's what you gotta know about the Elawir. They are probably the best fighters out of anybody. Especially there's this group of the Queen's Guard. It's like 7 of them. And they are insane. They are martial arts fiends. Xander knew about this. And so the Elawir were the very last people that he went to attack. He took these guys first, then headed over here, and spent a long time before he attacked the Elawir preparing. Ellie was the captain of the Queen's Guard. So she is like the best of the best. And she was preparing these defenses to fight up against Xander for a long time. He was training everybody. She was like leading, trenches being built. But finally, when Xander did decide to attack, the queen of the Elawir, Eletta is her name, she just surrendered. Before the battle even began, she surrendered to Xander. And Ellie did not get to defend her people, and her people just were merged in with Xander's empire. And now Eletta, the queen, works at the right hand of Xander. She's like the second in command. And Ellie feels unbelievably betrayed by her queen. Not only did Ellie's life's work was just like ruined, Eletta is benefiting from it, and nobody else is. All of her people are being like used by Xander, except for Eletta. So Ellie's not a big fan, but pretty much everybody else in the Elawir followed their queen. and Ellie ran away and has sworn revenge against Aletta. So that is Ellie's main goal, is to take down Aletta. But that's the deal with her. Jacob's like, oh, okay, I guess that makes me the king of the Elawir, according to Ellie. That's cool. But there's Rowan on these little like wooden boats. It actually it stays nighttime. There's no day-night cycle here in the land of the troglodytes. Makes keeping track of time pretty tough. But maybe they spend like a day or two, Jacob thinks. Jacob starts to wonder, like, how long have we actually been here? And he really has no idea. Maybe a week, 2 weeks. Time is like different on every world. He can never get like a decent sleep schedule. Some of them are completely underground. Some of them are perpetual night. A lot of people seem to have like a normal day-night cycle, and they spent 2 days there. So, well, who knows? Who knows how long they've been here? Eventually, as they're sailing over, Xerxes is like, "Hey, look down! Look into the water." And Jacob like looks over the edge and sees like glowing lights really far down. And Xerxes is like, "That's them. That's the troglodytes." You know, the prophecy says that the troglodytes will emerge at some point to change the course of the war. Jacob's like, "Yeah, you know about this prophecy. We've like never seen it, right? Have you seen it?" Xerxes is like, "No, but people I know have seen it, and Xander is like following it to a T. Xander is like obsessed with this prophecy, so he's doing everything he can like to like follow it. We know, and everything so far, according to like my sources, say that it has come true. So this prophecy, it's not. We haven't seen it. We got the gist of it, and it's working." Like, okay. Eventually, the three like boats like get together and they eat. Ned, the little gnome, the engineer, starts talking about how he feels like if Xander wanted to, the gnomes could engineer a way to like make submarines and like get down into the water. And they could like somehow do something with the troglodytes. Ned is very confident in the gnome's ability to construct and thinks that if Xander wants to, it's possible. So can't rule that out. Ned also talked a little bit about how he's gonna make like some gauntlets or something, some like mechanical fighting gloves for our martial artist Marcus. That's what they've been talking about the whole time. But they split up again. They keep rowing, and they get all the way over to another giant lily pad. Get to the land of the Drakeen. Boink. Now, the Xerxes need to prepare them before they enter the land of the Drakeen. So, the Drakeen are definitely the most populous of all 12 of the races. They have filled up their entire land, and there's actually two like little worlds, right? They call it the right and the left gate, that they've also filled up. So their population is the only ones that like might rival the size of the Drakeen. Like the Seraphs are pretty big, the Ra is pretty big, but the Drakeen are definitely the biggest. And the Drakeen, they're kind of like dragons, but they're like a little bit taller than humans. They're like 6 to 7 feet tall on average. They're not scaly, but they have like red, like really hard, almost like leathery skin maybe. It's not always red. It's like red and green and orange and everything, every like hue in between. And they got wings. They can fly. And their wings are very strong. They're like practically indestructible. So you'll often see them like with their wings like hunched over, like protecting themselves. And where's my red marker? No. Where it gets interesting is the leader of the Drakeen, his name is Darius, and he is very aware of what Xander is doing, and very aware that pretty much the only thing stopping Xander is either A, breaking through the Serifs, or B, breaking through Raw. Once Xander breaks through Raw, the Flower People and Troglodytes are not going to stop him for long, and he will be at Darius's doorstep. So, Darius has made some sort of alliance with Xander, saying like, I won't attack you, you don't attack me. It doesn't seem like Xander like really cares that much, considering he has much bigger issues. But in exchange, Xander like sometimes like sends emissaries on voiceover and they discuss stuff. And Darius is trying to be more like Xander. He also thinks that he can like start conquering other people. So he has successfully conquered the Juggers. If I can find my red marker, I'll have it marked tomorrow. But he has marched his army over and has taken over the Jugger people. So he has control of both of these guys. And Darius's rule of the Drakeen is uneasy. Some people say that he never should have allied with Xander. Some people say that they should just submit and join Xander. Some people don't approve of how they've conquered over the Juggers, and some people say they should do more. It's a stressful situation, which means there are lots of people there who support Xerxes and Jacob's cause, if you know where to look. So they head in to this new world. They enter through the right gate. This place kind of looks like the Nether. It's got red rocks across the bottom and red rocks across the top. It's like a giant cave. We can't like see the walls because it's big, but they're out there. It's just kind of one big red rocky circular dome. There's nobody at the gate, but Xerxes says, in order to get through the city, we're gonna have to be a bit sneaky. Darius knows about Xerxes and is not okay with their resistance group, so they will try to hunt him down. But Xerxes knows different people. They can get through towards their goal. So the first place they head off to is a mining camp. Now, it's a big old hole in the ground, and once they get up there, they can like kind of see from a distance what's in the hole, and it's not Drakeen digging. It's the Juggers. It's the monkey goat-like people, and it looks pretty brutal. It's slavery. They have enslaved the Juggers, and they are mining for them. What they are mining is a special substance called Flarestone, named after the goddess Flare. It's this like shiny yellowish rock that if broken into, explodes. The Drakeen use this for all types of things. They use it for mining, they use it in like demolition, and they use it in weaponry. They've actually manufactured these like guns that take like very small bit of flare glass and shoot like bullets essentially. But Xerxes meets up with somebody named Dax. He's a Drakeen, and Dax's job, he's a simple man. He carries the Flarestone from the mining outposts into the city so that it can be used. So what the gang is going to do is they are going to get into a wagon with the explosive Flarestone, and the Flarestone is going to be covered up by a tarp, which is normal. And what makes this a better idea is that the Flarestone doesn't get inspected because of how dangerous it is. So it's just going to go right into the city and right out, supposedly. Jacob doesn't really like this idea. Neither does really anybody, like being in with like explosive rocks that if like it crashed would, explode. But that's the plan. So they all get underneath the cart and Dax starts moving. He's got this like lizard beast and he's like whipping, he's like carrying the cart. Dax also got like one of those guns, but he's also got a sword because they're guns, but they're like old school guns. You know, you shoot once and you gotta open it up, put in the new fight flare glass, and like clean out the thing and put in a new bullet. So nothing bad happens on the way over. Jacob can like kind of see out through the world, and he sees like these giant like flying beasts and more like lizard monsters. It's pretty scary, but Dax gets him through all the way up until they meet a gigantic wall. Now this isn't made out of like the stone. This is like, anyway, it is made out of the stone, but it's like constructed. It is not a natural forming wall. They have built this giant wall here. Inside the wall is what looks like cannons. And the wall goes all the way from the bottom all the way up to the top. And in the middle of the wall is a big old gate, and then we got a huge line of different people bringing in different sorts of things. There's like some farms out here, so food's coming in and out of the city. Dax just kind of like waves at the guards. The guards are like, "Can we expect your package?" And he says, "No, this is flare stone. We don't want to get too close. This amount of flare stone could destroy an entire neighborhood, so we're just gonna like let it go through." He like opens up the a flap, and they see the flare stone. They're like, "All right, you can go through." We've worked with Dax before, and just like that, they have made it into the city. So there's a little bit of city here. It's mostly poor people live out on the edge, so nothing too impressive. They trek all the way through the gate, and now they're in the actual Drakian place. It's been a while, so they're gonna stop for the night at one of the warehouses. As they're marching, Jacob sees some pretty nasty stuff. We've got like basically crucified druggers, just like out and about, like on like a show or something. We see like military processions of like Drakeen. It is obvious that Darius is trying to send a message not to resist, and there's like word on the street that Darius is planning something big. So there's a lot of commotion going on. Dax like talked about it a little bit, that they've been asking for a lot more flare glass or flare stone. So Darius is planning something, and it's not looking good for the juggers. Say, they finally get to the warehouse where they're going to stop. Dax like gets off his cart and looks inside, and there is another Drakeen, and he is talking to. What Jacob sees is a very small man dressed in black. And he can't quite hear what this man is saying, but it seems like the man, on his hip, he's got a knife. And right next to his knife is his stone black hand. Jacob can like hear Roz like get mad just at looking at Black Hand. But Dax like doesn't say anything either. Jacob kind of like tries to look at Dax to see his reaction. He can't like quite see, but he listens to what Black Hand has to say. And he's talking to this like secretary guy. And he's like, "Yeah." Black Hand says, "Yeah, I just wanted to check in. Make sure we heard some rumors that you might be working with the resistance, and Xander and Darius, we're working together. We have an alliance here, and we don't want that. So we just wanted to like inspect, look around, see what's going on." And Black Hand actually has like a backpack. He takes the backpack out, and he's like, "Here, this is a gift for you to show that like we're serious about what we're talking about. We expect no resistance and complete compliance with Xander and Darius." And Black Hand like looks around and sees Dax. He like looks at Dax, and he looks at the cart, and like he just stops and stares at the cart for a long time. And Jacob is like very aware that he is in like an explosive. He's surrounded by this explosive stuff, and he can't move. And Black Hand, Xander's assassin, is standing right in front of him. And Black Hand he takes his hand, puts his hand like close to his head. And he's like, "Well, it seems like you've got a lot of flare stone in there. You better be careful." Where did you like get that from? Just out of curiosity, is that for Darius' army? And like Black Hand like walks closer, and Dax is like, yeah, Darius has been asking for a lot more flare stone recently. For I mean, I am certain that I'm just delivering man. Darius like Black Hand like looks, and he's like, we better be careful. Seems like that amount of flare stone could destroy an entire neighborhood. And he looks, and Jacob like swears that he's looking right into his eyes. And then just like that, Black Hand disappears. He's gone. The man at the counter like walks up to Dax and like furiously whispering to him, like telling him something, I don't know. The package is still on the table. And they can't like quite see what's in the package, but like Dax is like, all right, there's a change of plans. Going to a different warehouse, and we're going to stay there for a while. We need to lie low. We have no idea where Black Hand went, what he knows, but it is time to be careful. As they finally head out to this like secret warehouse that supposedly is safe. Dax like unloads all the flare stone, gets them out of there, and Jacob's like, what is going on? What was in that package? What did they like show you guys? And Dax is like, I'm not sure what it was, but it looked like to me the top of a giant red sunflower.